This month of May, we'll be talking and interviewing impressive mompreneurs and working moms that will truly inspire us all. In today's episode, we have invited Google employee, mompreneur, and homeschooling mom, Love Del Rosario. I'm really interested to hear her story, and I'm sure all of you are too. But before we welcome Love to GTV, if you are new to this channel, welcome. This is GTV, where we talk about creating and sustaining a business or a career while raising a family. I'm Ginger, I'm the content creator behind this channel and also a mom and a tech startup founder. So thank you for being here. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and click on that notification bell so that you'll be notified if we come out with more videos like this. So that's it. So let's say hi to Love.
Hi, Love! Thank you for agreeing to be a guest here on GTV.
Thank you, Ginger. It's been so long. I think I lost count over the years, but thank you for this opportunity. It's so nice to see you again.
How are you? I know you're doing a lot of things right now, and I know you've been with Google for so many years already. So for those who are watching, I knew Love from way back, no? So maybe Love, you can introduce yourself to our viewers.
Thanks. So my name is Love. I've been with Google for 4 years now. I celebrated my 4th year anniversary last April 17th.
Congrats.
Can't forget, right?
Congrats.
What I do, well, first, I'm a mom of 2, Ellie and Sam. I'm also a wife to JP. And like what I said, in terms of career, I've been hired as a senior program manager for Google Technical Services. So I oversee any scaled operations at the moment that's going to be assigned to me. So these can be sites that operate globally, from Latin America to Japan to Manila. And most of the operations that I oversee has something to do with either machine learning, artificial intelligence, and quality operations. So that's what I do.
I love it. So, and you are homeschooling right now, right?
Yeah, I would say I'm co-homeschooling with my husband. If
Yes.
people ask who is the primary homeschooler, I would nominate my husband. He handles the hard subjects such as math, English, science, and I handle the softer subjects such as nature studies, home economics, music appreciation, anything that has to do with arts and crafts, because right brain, left brain kaming mag-asawa.
Yes,
So,
I love it. As a mompreneur, you really need the support, right, of the people around you. So that's very good that you have a very supportive husband. So we're actually here, Love, because I wanted to ask you about your new business. So I saw that you have a new business. So you might want to share with our viewers what it is. And wait, before you share, I just want to say I'm so impressed because I know you're working in a really fast-paced company. So kudos to you. So yeah, maybe you can share with us what this is.
thank you. And I think the fact that we opened during pandemic, right? It's
Yes,
also
that.
a little bit scary. So 2 months ago, it was March 1st, we started the Good Feast PH. So in fact, when you asked me to get interviewed, I almost had this imposter syndrome where can I really officially call myself a mompreneur knowing that I've only started 2 months? But the fact that after 2 months of operation, we've managed to sell more than 600 kilos of adlai already.
Wow.
All through online, we've replenished stocks twice already. I guess you can count that as an achievement. So going to the brand, the name of our little online store is called the Good Feast PH. We sell our healthy alternatives over the internet through Facebook, IG. You can also find it in Lazada and Shopee, where we are a preferred seller. Only after 6 weeks, we've managed to reach all of the metrics in order to become a preferred seller. The tagline really of the store is healthy alternatives. It's because adlai as a replacement for white rice, blue tea as a replacement for green tea because it's healthier. Stevia, we also have cacao nibs as an alternative to chocolate. So it's all about switching to things that you can indulge on for the long term, because we don't believe that health shouldn't be like a short term thing that you should
Yeah.
achieve. Should be something that you would be happy to replace, um, something that you currently enjoy with, but at the same time you get double the health benefit, etc. So I mean, along the way, that when we started the business, when we started sourcing, I got to talk to farmers. I got to talk to their wives, their children, because usually in the province, farming is a family industry. It's a
Oh,
it's a
yeah.
family business. So, another cause brewed in our hearts. Where in fact, even before we started this business, I have always had an affinity to Filipino farmers. So all the more it got ignited when we started the business, because I really wanted to, be close to the farmers that's supplying our resource, and try to understand what else we can help them in terms of technology, making things more hygienic for them, etc. So I think it's really a lot of discovery that makes me want to continue this, even if there's a lot of hardships, like a lot of restless, sleepless nights. But I think it's truly worth it, because it's another side of, it's another story that I feel like I'm rediscovering over and over again.
Oh, I love it. And you're doing this with your husband, right, love?
Yes, so it's me, my husband, and we partnered with another friend, Jai and Rufi. Rufi, whose father is also a farmer in Bukidnon. So that's how we were able to link connections. He was able to introduce us to families whose, we're very conscious. We don't want, middle players. Not that they're bad or anything, right?
Yeah.
But we want to make sure that we're sourcing directly to small sized farms, because sometimes, I don't know how to say it in English, but when there's a middleman already, sobrang babaratin.
Mm-mm.
Kumbaga, the term tinataga.
Yes.
So we want them, parang we want to pay them as much as we would pay a middleman,
That's
so that the earning is directly to them. So Rufi's dad went around it's a big island. In fact, maybe I've also discovered its geography and everything. It's so fascinating. So he went around the island, looked for small size farms, checked yung how
the
everything is being
soil and all.
performed, the
Yeah.
family and everything. So we got to know them, and then that's how we were able to build our supply chain.
I
And
love it.
yeah, so it's a different world. How do I say it?
I don't
And
expect.
it's a
And then
yes,
agriculture. Yeah,
yes.
it's so far apart. So
But if I can find a way to marry both,
yeah,
Ginger, like if we can put technology in our farming,
yeah.
that's my ultimate goal. But maybe 3 years from now, you can interview me when my
When
dream
that
finally
happens.
happens. Yeah,
Yes,
when I can already apply machine learning to planting crops.
I
If I
love
can do
it.
that, I would be
Yeah.
like, I'm a happy woman if I'm able to do that.
Yes, I love it, love. So you know what? I'm curious to know. Like, was it like in one gathering you sat together with these people and just said, "Hey, let's start an agribusiness." So how did that
Mm.
happen? Like, how did this start? Because, like I've mentioned, it's two worlds apart right now. Like, it's totally different from what you're doing,
Right, it's not like I woke up one day and then
right?
let's sell adlay, right?
I know.
It was a slow build, I would say. I don't know if you can call it slow build, but during last quarter of last year, if there's anything that this pandemic gave me, it's really time. What used to be the normal cycle of our life is, I would always be traveling at least once or twice a quarter. I would bring my husband sometimes, I would bring my family. So it's always a question of where are we going next, or who do we want to meet, which party do we want to attend. So if there's anything that the pandemic has given me, and it's really, really, really a privilege. Like, um, I'm always praying and super grateful that we were able to work remotely. I mean, time is really a gift that the pandemic has given me, and I'm really sensitive that, I'm speaking from a very privileged position. So
Nice.
and because of that realization, you always want to convert a gift into something productive, right? So last quarter of last year, my husband and I realized that a lot of businesses are pivoting to online.
Yeah.
If I mean restaurants like Ramenagis started selling their frozen
Boxes.
ramens,
Exactly.
yes.
Yeah.
And we're always so fascinated how people get so creative in shifting their business model from face to face to online. Like I remember I've spoken to some party planners, event planners, even magicians, like people who all those businesses and jobs that used to rely on,
Face to
one-to-one
face.
interaction, face to face. I mean, I'm so amazed by the resilience and creativity that they shifted online. So I said to my husband, why don't we have extra time? Why don't we buy courses online on digital marketing? I know I'm already working for Google, but that's not really my line of business, since my line of business is really tech. So we started buying courses, and there's a lot of courses that you can look up online on how to start selling online, how to use social media as a platform in terms of selling. So Q4 we were trying to beef up the skills, but we didn't know what to sell. So it's so funny because for several weeks, my husband and I would have coffee in our balcony at 4 p.m. and then we would just have coffee, and we were like always brainstorming. Okay, so we know now how to do an ad copy. Okay, now we know now how to build a website. So, but what do we sell? What do we sell? It's so funny. Like we were saying, how about imported whiskey? Because everybody's at home, but we were like, I said to myself, do we really want that? Like, is that, I don't know. I mean, nothing against selling whiskey, but I was telling him, where do we store it? I'm not an expert in whiskey selling. So cancel. So sabi niya, what else? Like, do we want to sell bike? So in short, like, it was like several weeks of like talking. What do we know? What do we love? And then December, I bought Adlai in Landers.
Okay.
So I'm like, what is this? It's along the grains section.
Yeah.
It's with couscous, chia seeds, etc., etc. And I'm like,
exactly.
it says good for diabetic, and my husband's family is diabetic. So I'm always very conscious about sugar and everything, because they say fats, diba? You can burn, but sugar, it's different.
Yeah.
So I'm always on the lookout for less sugar alternatives. So I looked at it, and then when I cooked it, it tastes like Japanese rice. Japanese rice, or the small pasta. I forgot the name.
Yeah. Risotto.
Yeah, something that's used for risotto, and it tastes exactly like that. I'm like, oh my gosh. If you know me, my motto since college is canon is life, right? Even if like I attend all of those expensive buffet, I'm one of those where you will see still, with rice, people would frown like, anyway. So rice was life to me. When I realized that it's a locally produced crop, so I started researching, what is this? Because I know couscous. So I found out that it's endemic to the Philippines. So there are only 3 locations in the Philippines where it is grown. The minimum criteria is that it has to be highland. So the elevation in the land to the sea has to be high. So it's only growing in Sagada. Very, very few farms in Sagada, Zamboanga, and Bukidnon. And I'm like, who do I know who's from Bukidnon? So it started with just me calling Rufy, and I said, Rufy, you're from Bukidnon, right? And I think one of my strength din kasi is really connectedness. Like I see connection. I mean, so I realized that if we can source directly to farmers from Bukidnon and ship it here to Manila, aside from helping out farmers, it would be less costly rather than getting a middleman. So from there, from January, it snowballed, and then March we started selling to friends. But before that, So we learned a little bit about marketing,
Yeah.
but all I can say is that to all you marketing graduates, like I am so amazed by the level of knowledge that you guys have. I probably know the tip of the iceberg only, but I'm like every time I see an ad right now, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my
Wow.
gosh,
You put
this
in
is.
a lot of work.
I mean, it's just a phrase, but I know where where this
Oh,
came from. Like, so I started building the hype in my personal profile about Adlai as well. So I started like cooking dishes all about Adlai, and I keep posting it in my personal social media. I won't stop talking about it to friends. Like I became a true advocate of the product, which I think leads me to my next advice. Like time would really fly if you're selling something that you like
yeah.
if it would people would see it, and it wouldn't even feel like you're duping somebody to buy something, because the intent is very pure, and I'm enjoying this, I love this. So um yeah, and then marketing is all about packaging it for the wider audience. But if it's people that's close to you, they would see your true intention of why you're
You're
becoming an advocate for something, and it's easy for them to trust what you're selling or what you're offering them.
Yeah, I love it. So people really who are looking for something to sell now, that's a very good tip. It should really resonate with you. It should like connect with you in a different level. Because like the
Yeah.
other products that you went through, I can just imagine like how many products you went through before you came out with like, oh, let's do this, or before you chose Adlai as a
Yeah.
product. Yeah,
I
so
remember we considered Japanese whiskey because I know they're expensive. So, but it was like it ended there. Like,
there, that's
what
it.
else? What else do I like
Yeah.
about it except that it's expensive? But anyway,
Yeah.
sorry, I interrupted you,
No,
Ginger.
it's interesting. It's interesting, love. So another thing that I'm interested to know more about is that, like in business, it really takes time. And you mentioned that you would meet with your husband like every day and set up like a small meeting. How is it when it comes to like you working full time and also this managing this new business? Like what do you see that helped you, maybe like some factors that help you really start this and decide to push through with it?
I wish I could say that my timetable is so strict, but
Mm.
a, a, a part of me would try to follow a schedule, but I would also say that it's also accepting the fact that it's going to be an organized chaos.
Yeah.
Like you won't know it. Some things will creep in the middle, right? But
Yeah.
I think that's one of God's gift to women, because we are multitaskers. So, and you rely on your partner's strength as well. If I see my husband who's very focused, so he's very task oriented. So all I need to do is to give him a list of 5 things, and he'll be able to
He'll do it.
accomplish with
Yeah.
it. Yeah. So I said I need um, you know 5 posts in the next 5 days. He'll do it. But for me, it's always I feel like something is it's something's creeping in between. So you just
Yeah.
have to accept that fact. But try your best. Try your best to still follow some semblance of schedule. So what I mean by that is, well, thankfully, I follow a flexi schedule, and my manager is aware that my block of time. So what I do is that in my calendar, I set up a block of time called Love's office hours. So
Mm.
people would know that they can only schedule meetings during that block of time. And then the rest, it says DNS. So very, very uso sa amin yan. DNS is
Oh,
do not schedule. Okay,
okay.
so in fact, my Friday is DNS, do not schedule, because it's my me time, right? Like,
Wow.
or ask before scheduling. That's what I put for Fridays. So, people should know the schedule that you're following,
Mm.
so that if there's a delay in your responses, you've set the right expectation. So, I would say, if what happens if your time is not flexible? Say if you have to work in a bank and it's really 8 to 5. So I would say, setting up an online business, it would eat up around 4 to 6 hours of your time
Mm.
at the start.
Yeah.
But once you put up the system, you know how to, there's a lot of auto replies option. I would say you'd only need 2 to 3 hours in a day.
Yeah.
2 to 3 hours in a day includes the creative task, because you always want to see how you can evolve the brand. You look at your competitor, how are they branding things. So that includes creative tasks already. So I mean, look at the lifestyle that you have at the moment. Can I allocate 2 to 3 hours of my time to this? If there is something that you can realistically give up in order to set up some time for a business, I would say just start, because no system is perfect when you start it.
Yeah.
But as you go through the business as usual, you will come up with a system, and you will see that it comes easier over time. I don't know if that's a valid advice, but yeah, now I only need about 2 to 3 hours of my day to spend. You know, I've also enlisted the help of our two, wonderful yayas who's now like our packaging. Our manpower includes my kids even. Like make it like a family event. You'll be able to find a system to make things easier over time. And I feel like we don't have to start perfect.
Yeah.
That is the power of small businesses over large corporation. Like small businesses are very agile. If you want to say, I want to sell this moving, this is part of my, this is now going to be part of my brand, it's your decision, right? Whereas in the large corporation, it takes a lot of proposal, a lot of sign-offs. But small businesses are agile. If you don't feel like your packaging is working, you can change suppliers. So um, not everything has to be perfect once you start, but at least your intention and your product at least has to be like close to perfect. But the system does it.
Nice. Thank you for that, love. I'm wondering, like, I think there are a lot of people who are still employed, and like you, they're still employed, but they want to put up a business. So, what are the considerations when it comes to that? It seems like Google is a very flexible employer, but maybe for some, their employers may not be as flexible. So, like, maybe take us through like how the dynamics is at work and also your business. How does that work?
Yeah. So I think I'm not gonna talk so much in Google context, because it's not gonna be applicable for majority. So I'll talk very general, very high level. So first is that, will your company allow you to I think everyone is asked to sign a like a code of conduct, right? Like there's some clauses around, um, you are not allowed to moonlight. So make sure that your product is not a direct competitor of your current company, right? Which leads me to my second point around transparency. So if it's something that you cannot disclose to your manager, then don't even engage on it, right? So before I started, I made sure that this is something that my manager knows. My manager is part of my social media circle, so she's aware of all my. She's aware, and I'm also very sensitive that I'm not doing this during my office hours, right? Like I'm not posting in my social media during my. So transparency, I feel like, is a key, and along with transparency is trust, right? Look at where you are in your stage in your career. To answer the question of whether is it the best time to start a side hustle. So if you're someone who's just started in the current position, or you're someone who's still undergoing probationary period, or maybe you have some performance issues, I think it's best to concentrate on your bread and butter first, right? But if all the minimums are ticked, if your manager is a go, if you have 2 to 3 hours to set aside, and you have a product that you love, then just sell. It's really the micro, small, and medium businesses that is the lifeblood of our economy at the moment. So you're not only helping yourself, but you're also helping the families of the riders who will be bringing your goods. You're helping the family of whoever it is that you're getting your raw materials from. So it's like a one big ecosystem that you will help, make successful. So just start if all the minimum are ticked.
I love the practical tips, no love. So I think I really agree with you that you have to focus first on the work at hand, no, when it comes to like being employed. Because you can't just like lose focus. At the end of the day, even if we women are good at multitasking, there's still like certain responsibilities that are given to you, and they expect, obviously your employers expect results from you. And then that's when you already like get the hang of it, or you've delivered already the results that they wanted you to deliver, no, that's when siguro that you can start already thinking of your side hustles, or even like
Yeah.
if you've already managed a system or a flow, if you've gotten that groove already. So that's when you now can think of a business. So in terms of challenges, love, I'm sure like you encountered a lot of challenges when you started this. Maybe you could share some to our viewers.
Challenges. So knowing that it's pandemic, we were at the mercy of all the shipping, so all those logistics considerations, right? The second of which is that we're not really experienced when it comes to packaging. So I think I remember us changing packaging at least twice, and I would say there's also this feeling intimidated by bigger brands that you're competing against. So I think so aside from logistics and the system and packaging, I think the biggest struggle would be internally your own fears.
Yeah.
Right? So you would wake up in the morning and say, may bibili ba sa akin today? And it's like the moment that Shopee dings, I'm like, okay, I'm okay. I can drink my coffee. No, but I would say getting over the fear and your own judgment of your own capability, because I mean, for example, I'm so successful in my career, and if this fails, like that blow to my or I would say ego. Really, it's pride, right? So I really had to humble myself and say that, love, you're not doing this to make yourself feel better or to prove to anybody that you're good. You're doing this for a cause. Remember the families that you're doing this for. Remember the farmers that you're trying to help out. And then, from that internal psychological struggle, I think it became smoother after that. Like I became more chill because I also like empathize with my husband, because he had to deal with a lot of strain coming from me because like what I said, that internal struggle, that fear, that pride, that ego, that I'm so used to systems being perfect because I'm used to like a large corporation, but then I know that we're starting with a system that's all we're still perfecting it as days and weeks go by. So just that adjustment, and so I also took mentors pala, Ginger. So I spoke to like other friends who started online business.
Yeah.
So they've also mentioned that that struggle of it's different when it's almost like if people reject your product, it's almost like they're rejecting you, right? So it's being able to really compartmentalize that feelings, and making sure na I'm gonna talk in Tagalog, like may matitira for your family and may matitira pa rin sa'yo. Like wag mong don't wag mong ibuhos lahat, and then yon after that slow bump, like I would say it has become easier now, and I would encourage moms who are looking to start a business that you can do it. Like if there's anybody, I mean, there's so many inspirational stories that they can learn from, and which would encourage them to start businesses as well.
I'm curious to know, love, have you ever gotten into a fight with your husband, like over business? And what do you do? And in terms of like, I think this is one challenge that a lot of couples have, like couples in business have. Like, how do you separate your personal life and business? Because you're both into it. We're all working from home. Like most of the couples are working from home as well. So how do you do that? And from what I know, your husband is already also full time, right? And I mean employed full time. So maybe you can like share with us like your experiences in this case.
He's an IT software engineer. So how do I say this? I'm taken a bit aback, but I'm gonna be completely transparent. So it's really hard to segregate this. If you're starting a business with your husband, it's really hard to separate personal and the business side of it. Plus, it's another parang, diba, people have different facets. So
Yes.
it's another side of him that I came to know about.
True.
Right? And
True.
we're so opposite. I'm always like go go go, but for him he's always like around, chill, we can do this. So I get frustrated. Plus I don't want to fall into stereotypes. Plus there's hormones, and like what you said, like we're in one big cocoon. So I would recall like 2 to 3 times where it was a really heavy fight. And I think what I'm gonna say next would contradict majority of the advice that people would say around fights. Like they said, diba, right? Just talk about it right there and then settle it before. Don't sleep while you're mad at each other. So if that works for other couples, good. But that doesn't work for my husband and myself because he's an introvert. He needs time. Like I've realized, I used to be like that. I thought him sleeping while we're still, mad at each other is a sign that he doesn't care about my feelings. And I'm like stewing all night saying, how come he doesn't want to fix our issue? But then I realized it works. It works because in the morning, we're a lot calmer. We're able to process what we really meant when we were being demanding from each other. And so when there's fight, for me, it's really, we're like our kids. We have to have a time out and then come back the next morning to talk about it. And for husbands who are watching this, just say sorry, because women, the moment that they hear that magic words, right, like, oh my god, I'm sorry too. So it's like just find what works between you and your husband, and don't panic if you're fighting, because it's normal, right? You fight with your coworkers. You've suddenly made your husband your colleague, so it is a different side of him that you have to discover and understand. So we're still a work in progress, Ginger. Oh my god.
Yeah, I totally can relate, love. Like with EJ and I, like during the first years of Taksumo, we would fight, like really fight a lot. So we're also obviously like we're not the same person. That's why we get into arguments. I mean, I think any couple will get into arguments because of that. No? You're two different people with two different views, especially if women like us, we're very vocal. Same in our case, like I'm the extrovert and he's the introvert. So we really get into those heated arguments. But yes, that also works for us. Like we set time apart first. We don't talk about business first when we get into an argument, and then we stop, and then we do things first, like in separate rooms, and then when we're calm, that's when we talk. So it doesn't really work for us like, okay, let's settle this, because it just gets it escalates and escalates and escalates. So so we're the same. So very practical advice, and look at what works for you. It may not work, this particular process really for people viewing this may not work for you. It might work for you if you talk about it like before sleeping, but for some it works this way, that they have time apart first and then they talk about it when they're calm and composed.
Yes. I'm also curious, Ginger, since it's been a while now since you put up Taksumo. Does it ever feel like sometimes all you talk about is business? So how do you, I know I'm being interviewed here, but I really wanna get your advice around that. Like, do you consciously say that, how come it's all business that we're talking about? So how do you get around that you're still like, there's still spark?
To put it simply, we're still
Yeah.
together. Yes. Yeah, but that's a very good question, love. The thing with EJ, he's very particular about time spent in business versus time spent with the family, no? So
Mm-hmm.
it really is like he made it a rule that when it comes to like talking about business, when it's 6 o'clock, we may have different time zones, right? But when it's 6 o'clock, we stop talking about work. So we really log off and
Mm.
then we do other things. That's why we got into gaming. That's the reason why we got into things like that, no? Like we're all gamers, we all play. EJ streams
Mm-hmm.
games, and then Zika also plays her stuff. I play my own stuff. It's because of that. So we have our own like yeah, we really set that as a rule in the house. So in terms of working as well, you'll notice if you look at my vlogs and even like interviews or even panels where I've guested, I always stay here because this is our office, our little office. So in terms of physical space also, we try to look for a space where we only talk shop, and for the rest of the
Awesome.
space we talk about like family stuff and all of those things. So in the bedroom, if I want to bring up something, I really stop myself already
Yeah.
because yeah, that's when we get into like heated arguments when because you really don't know it. You don't know if you're gonna get in the same page. Like if you ask him something and he answers and replies like
Yeah.
differently from what you expected, then you
Correct,
can
correct.
right. So you'll never know. So we normally talk about work during work hours and in a particular environment.
Okay.
So there, that's
I
how.
would definitely I would definitely
Yeah.
follow that because I realized that those fights happened in the bedroom before
Yes.
we were about to sleep. Because like
Exactly.
you spring up like a philosophical question or a very difficult like
Yeah.
question and you don't get the answer that you need.
Yes.
So super duper, I'm gonna
Yes.
keep that to heart and I'll make sure I'll follow that. I'll no more business talk. Like we're gonna set a little bit late because we work late. So
Yeah.
I'll say
Yeah.
10 p.m. No more. No
No more
more. No
already.
more work
Yes.
talk.
And you
Okay.
know what? And it's and for some couples, there's really like one person sometimes who like thinks of an idea and then like just can't contain or keep it to him or herself. Now, if you don't want to forget about it, maybe the first thing that you can do is ask the other person, like, is it okay? I have this great idea. I don't want to lose it, but I don't want to talk about work, but I just don't want to lose it. Can I tell
Okay.
you, or should I
Uh-uh.
email you about it, or something like that? So
Uh-uh.
yeah, we actually do email each other about stuff like this as well. Yeah, so that's how you can approach it. If he says yes, fine, it's fine, it's fine, I can just hear it and then we can talk about it tomorrow. Then you say it there.
Do you know that we email each other our apology letters?
Oh,
So
that is so
my
cute.
husband is more expressive written.
Yeah.
So what I usually have is an email the next day with an apology. So
Oh, that's
it's
so
so and then I don't know if it's weird. So I would also reply. So at least our
mm.
action items, our promises are documented. I know it's a little bit weird, but I will take that advice to heart. Thank you so much, Ginger. That's so
Sure, no
that's
worries, no
cool.
worries. You're welcome. So since we're talking about like lessons, no love, are there any other lessons that you've learned as a mompreneur? Like in this
Mm-mm.
span of like you starting a business?
Okay. So try to arm yourself with as much knowledge as you can. Like it might be contradictory to what I said earlier about it's okay that you're not perfect, etc. But it's just a wasted opportunity when there's just so much information out there already to prepare you. So I mean, if you want to sell online, there's a lot of information in YouTube. Yes, may promote.
Yes.
Side note, we have a YouTube channel called Digiscarting Pinay. It was put up by Google Philippines. So it's if you go to that channel and if you're a woman who wants to start a livelihood project like opening up a carinderia, opening up
Oh,
a weaving business, so it's all in Digiscarting Pinay, as well as how do you manage the cash flow. So make use of all the information that's available to you through
yeah.
online, through your friends who's done it. learn the lesson before committing the mistake. So um, I would say it will become a calculated risk if you've armed yourself with all the information that you can and then start. And you'll realize you shouldn't stop learning as soon as you start. Right? I'm
True.
still continuing to learn. Um, if you're someone who loves to learn, and if you're a learner for life, I would say starting a business will give that, boost, kasi everybody longs to learn something, and starting a business would give you that avenue talaga to discover new skills, new talents, new competencies.
Oh, thank you so much for those wonderful tips, love. And I'm sure like women who are watching this, like they will realize that yeah, nothing's really stopping them now from starting a business. It's not your employer. Well, maybe your employer if you have those code of conduct that you can't start a business. But for most employers, I would say like they're very flexible. They're
Mm-hmm.
very willing to help you out when you're in need, and this is sort of like something that you can do after work. Just don't forget that you should obviously deliver results and also give value back to the employer and to that company. And even like in terms of support system, diba? Support system, you mentioned that your husband is very supportive. There are people
Mm-hmm.
around you who are very supportive. The people in your home and even in your work are very supportive. So we need that support system. So try to identify like some people and even mentors you mentioned that who can
Mm-hmm.
help you start your own business. So thank you so much, love. Like for my final question, like do you have any other tips that you want to share for those aspiring entrepreneurs, mompreneurs, dadpreneurs, whoever is watching this that you'd want to share?
So first, for the aspiring entrepreneurs that's trying to juggle both worlds, I would say try to make those two worlds complement each other. They have to coexist as beautifully as they can. So what do I mean by this? So all of the skills that you've learned over time in your professional career, those are already your strengths that you can apply on your business, right? Never forget project management. You can apply that. Customer service, you can definitely apply those skills in your business. And make your business also make you richer as an employee. If your boss sees you coming to work more inspired, more creative, talking about the new skill sets that you've learned because you've opened the business, that's going to make them more supportive of your side hustle, right? So
Yeah.
find a way to make those two worlds coexist in order for you to flourish. And I would say they say that you can't have it all, but then with hard work, I would say you can. Just make sure that you're balancing those two worlds together, and they're not causing you stress, right? So
Yes.
that's it. Thank you,
Thank you
Ginger,
so
again. It
much.
has been fun talking to you.
Thank you, love. Thank you again for accepting this invitation. And I hope to talk to you soon. I hope your business flourishes. And I'll talk to you when the time comes that you can share other insights, right? About like maybe even combining machine learning, AI with agriculture, right? So there. So thank you so much, love. And thank you everyone for watching this.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you again for joining me in today's episode. So, this episode is once again brought to you by Taxumo. So, for Philippine-based businesses who want to pay and file their taxes from home, you can actually do it yourself. So, all you need is to try out Taxumo. Just go to their site www.taxumo.com, and all you need to do is diligently encode your income and expenses, and the system automatically computes for your tax dues already. So you don't need to have any accounting background. So signing up is free, so don't forget to sign up right after you watch this. And then later on, if you want to file, just look for the subscription plan that you need and subscribe. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you to Love again for joining us, and I hope you all stay safe. Bye!